Buzz with Jess Lujan.
Good evening, Guam. I'm Jess Lujan. Welcome to this edition of The Buzz. My in-studio guest tonight has been and continues to be the voice of the rebuild and hopefully the soon-to-be-open, grand reopening John F. Kennedy High School. Back to the old location, new campus. Welcome back.
Hey.
It's always good to actually, you know, most people are saying, let's put a face to the voice, because you've been a regular voice on The Buzz regarding, gosh, we've been through miles and years of, you know, this whole getting the John F. Kennedy High School rebuilt. Let's go back, Angelo. Actually, Angelo is Angelo Andres. He's a social study teacher, right?
Yes, at JFK.
John F. Kennedy High School. Sometimes I think maybe John F. Kennedy has a teacher shortage because of all the school. I mean, the only teacher that comes out actually is you. But anyway, that's for another show. That's for another show. Okay. Anyway, let's go back and trace the the genesis of John F. Kennedy High School from being shut down to double session to TGen to possibly being built and back and forth, and actually between you and your students, you have visited every branch of government, from the legislature, executive branch, previous administration, and the judicial branch, to include actually the Office of Public Accountability.
Correct. Yes,
so please take us through that roller coaster ride.
Yeah, well, you know what? It first started when I was actually back at Mississippi for training, for military training. When I was there, that was when the campus was closed, and I felt really bad because I was so far away and I couldn't do anything about it.
And this was what, 3 years back?
This is about 3 years back. Correct. And so, you know, I heard of the move from my colleagues that they had to move from JFK to GW, and they were going to go through double session over there. So, you know, when I got back from training, you know, we had to go through the whole double session with GW, and you know, it was a really trying time, and you know, we really thank the Geckos for allowing us to at least you know, be in their campus for that year. But it was really hard. It was really hard for everybody. I know our sports program suffered. A lot of teachers had to basically live off their car because, you know, as far as this cabinet space and all that, some of them were storing their own materials in their cars and you know, going to the classroom.
You were moving into somebody else's home.
Exactly, you know, and you know, when the idea that, you know, a new school would be built for us, you know, we were kind of really happy, and the JFK Exit Task Force was formed, and you know, their job was mainly to make sure, actually, they were formed previous to us leaving the Tumon campus to go to GW. But they continued on and to make sure that, you know, all the I guess the specs and you know, the push towards getting the new campus was carried out. So you know, they were working really hard under the direction of or the leadership of Dr. Hendricks.
Actually, there was a task force that was formed.
That was a task force, correct? Yeah, the JFK Exit Task Force. And then so, you know, that summer, right after the double session with GW, I mean, of course, it was really trying and tough for everybody. And you know, the whole issue about the lack of instructional hours and all that was really a big thing. So they wanted, you know, the GW folks as well as us to go through a whole school year, you know, on our own. So you know, season came up, right? But yet there's an issue of funding. So, you know, the kids, as well as myself and some of the other teachers, you know, we were out there, you know, rallying and protesting and try to get, you know, the legislatures to try to approve the funding, you know, to allow us to be at that temporary campus in Teason. And it was a rough ride. It was a really rough ride.
I remember that, Mr. Andres. I remember that actually, because you definitely, I mean, you and your students went down there and said, hey, look, if you're not going to do it, we're going to hold you. We're going to hold you to your campaign promises about education being the top priority. And you definitely did that. You helped there with the fire. And I must say, actually, if without your efforts and the students and some of your colleagues, I have to say that I don't think you'll probably still be in Tijan or maybe in double session, because again, there were contentious times there.
Yes.
There was a challenge again after the award was was awarded.
That's right.
And so it seemed like there was one thing after another that just led or it was easy to assume that nothing was going to happen, that something else was going to be done with the JFK property.
That's true. That's true. And you know, the kids were basically the driving force on this, because you know, as often as I wanted to also push the issue. I mean, it gets tiring.
Yeah.
It gets tiring. But when kids, when the students come up to you and say, "Okay, sir, when's the next rally?" I mean, we want to get involved. We want to do something about it, because we don't want to just sit down and not do anything. I mean, I don't know if that's just an Islander thing, but I mean, the drive with the students were there, and the class of 2010, those were the group of kids that I really credit the push for, because let me tell you, I mean, on a drop of a call, I mean, I can get 20 students easily, and they would be right there, and a lot of these students were had the passion and the drive to I mean, they understood that they won't be able to go and set foot on the new JFK. But their own drive was, I mean, we have brothers and sisters, we have cousins and relatives that are going to be going to JFK, and we want to make sure that, at least there's that possibility that the new JFK can be open for them.
And correct me if I'm mistaken in this. As a matter of fact, when you move in, hopefully, let's keep our fingers crossed, next month, I think it's next week or a week after that.
Next week.
When you do move in, the incoming seniors, this will be the first time they would have set foot on the original campus.
Yes, yes. Actually, when we were at the GW campus, I think those were the seniors now. Incoming seniors were incoming freshmen.
The freshmen, yeah.
Correct.
Okay. So they didn't have time to again to step on the original campus, right?
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Anyway, I tell you what, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, hey, you can chime in on this conversation by dialing 632-8255 or 632-TALK to give us a call and we'll speak to you live. We'll be right back.